Windows Server 2019 System Administration. Welcome back everybody. I'm Prakash Pradhan, your trainer for this series. In today's topic, we're going to discuss about the printer server. In every organization, you might have seen in olden days, we used to have, standalone PC. In every PC, the printers were bought in order to do some sort of official printing work. But nowadays, the time when the network printer was deployed or when the network printer was introduced in the market, so the huge amount of cost was saved, because in a network printer, or when we deploy a printer over the network, we are going to use one centralized print server where entire workstations are going to print through that single printer. That means it's gonna save huge amount of money. So over here, in order to deploy the printer over the server, or in order to make some sort of your printer server, we have certain requirement. Number one, you need to have Active Directory so that you can deploy this printer server policy via your group policy. And number two, you need to have a printer, and obviously you'll have to install a printer along with the driver. So what we're going to do today, we're going to learn how to deploy the printer over the server so that any workstation over the network infrastructure, they can simply type the document and they hit a command for print, and even the printer driver, they can search themselves and they will choose the default printer and they can print automatically, so that you don't have to go to one desk to the next desk in order to install the printer driver in your network. Now for that, you also need to make sure that monitoring part is also important. Okay, in order to monitor that how many pages are being printed or how many clients are active right now in your printer server, you need to install the IIS rule as well in order to monitor your printer via browser. So in order to deploy the printer, whatever requirements are there, we are going to discuss all one by one. First of all, what you need to do, I suggest you to create one group. Inside one OU, let's create it. So I'm going to create a new OU, let's say printer test. This is the one OU. Inside this, I'm going to create, let's create the user only. So let's say print test 1. Okay, this is the one user, print test 1. Now we are going to set the password. And now you see we have one OU, and inside this OU we have one user. So I do have another one user in other OU as well. I can drag it over here also. Now see, two users are there in this OU. Okay, and if you would like to make a part of any group, that is up to you. Now the next thing, whenever we talk about the printer server, we used to deploy the printer via server using a group policy. That means we need to have your resultant set of your group policy. So that's why I'm going to create one group policy and link it over here. Okay, so let's create new group policy, or let's link it over here only in print test. If you remember, this is our OU. I'm going to create one group policy and say our printing test. Okay, let's see, this is the OU. Now I'm going to link it over here, the group policy. That means I'm going to publish a printer in this group, so that whoever are the member of this group will have the permission to print it. Whenever they hit a print command, the printer will get displayed only along with their user account or in their specific PC. Otherwise, it's not going to display over there. Now, your step number one is done. We created one OU. We made a one group policy and we store certain account, that means the object inside that organizational unit. Now the next work that we need to do is, in order to make your print server, you need to install a print server role. For you, I have already installed, but just I would like to show you the space or the area from where you are supposed to install. Now here, print and document service, you will have to install this along with internet printing if you would like to monitor the printer queue or whatever printing work is done or going on via web browser. It's not mandatory to do this, but I guess it's one of the best feature that's been given by the Microsoft. So I suggest you to do this. Okay, you install this both the rules, and after that you go to the tools and your print management will get displayed. You might be thinking, why did I pre-install? In order to save your time, so that we can see or discuss furthermore. Okay, so click this print management. Now the next work, what you need to do after installing this print server role, you will have to install the driver for the printer. Okay, now in my case, I have installed the printer, downloaded from the cloud, this one, GPCL6. Okay, any printer driver that you would like to see for the testing purpose, you can download from the cloud. So then I have installed. See, the installation files are also over here. I have simply installed this printer, and that printer is being listed over here in your let's see here in this print management printers. That printer will get displayed. Okay, now after that, if you see the property of this printer, okay, you go to the setting. Okay, you can say, okay, I'm going to use it. This printer, where is the, okay, let's see this one. Okay, Canon generic PCL, this one. I'm gonna go to the property, go to setting. Do not forget to tick this one. Okay, in order to make sure that the printer is being deployed or installed via your this group policy using the print management console over here. If you would like to search your printer in your Active Directory users and computers, this has to be get listed over here, list in the directory. That means after installing the printer driver, that will automatically get listed over here, or you can add the driver from here as well. But do not forget to list in the directory. Now if it is listed in a directory, then I should be able to see the name of this printer in the Active Directory search option. Let's go to find. Okay, I'm not gonna search for any object like users, contacts. I'm going to search for the printer. Search it, that printer should get listed. Fantastic. See, the printer name is listed over here now. Okay, if that tick is not done, that means the printer over here in Active Directory will not get listed. So our role has been added. Okay, after adding the role, you need to install the printer driver. If you want to know how did I install, simple, this one. Okay, add driver, go to next, 64-bit, next. Okay, have disk or browse it. Okay, I'm going to browse it. My printer driver is on the desktop itself. Here, driver, this one, file is here, select it, open, and the driver is installed. So I also show you how did I install that one. Okay, I was just thinking to save your time. Now the next work, printer driver is installed. Okay, now the OU is created, user is created, group policy is also made. Now the next important work is to deploy this printer via group policy. Okay, because if I come to this menu over here, this tab, deployed printers, there are no printers. That means user will not be able to print any document via their group policy. Okay, so I'm going to add a printer into this group policy. That means I'm going to deploy this printer via group policy. So I'm going to select the same printer that we were discussing, this copy one, right click and deploy with group policy. Don't forget, we are going to deploy the printer over here via group policy, so that only the specific group members, okay, are going to be able to print using this printer server. And then over here you'll have to browse the name of that your group policy. Remember, we have created print test. This is the name of that group which we created last time in order to deploy this printer via group policy. Do okay, this is the name of our that group policy, and just take this board, users that the GPU applies to per user and per machine. Okay, then you have to add it. Don't forget to add this. After this, done. Okay, now if I come to deploy printers, now you see printer is over here. That means using the server role, printer server management role, we have successfully deployed the printer. Now the next work is to see whether this printer can be accessed by the client, but it can be accessed by other workstation or not. So this is my client. Okay, now over here if I see the user, this is the user. Okay, no problem. Now over here I need to see that I can print it. So I will simply go to Notepad. Okay, then I'm going to type some text, let's say test paper, okay, anything you want. And when I go to print, okay, it should get listed over here, that printer, deployed via the group policy. If it is not listed over here, you are logging in for the first time, you'll have to find the printer in Active Directory. See, remember that checkbox we did while sharing the printer to list in Active Directory. This is the another one purpose, so that user can access it. If you do not do that, user will not be able to access it. So it's done. Now the printing is given. See, now the print command is given. So where does this print goes now? Actually, it goes in a print server. Okay, if you like to monitor in the print server whether the print that command is given or not. Okay, now let's see printer, which one is this printer. Okay, setting is here, entire thing is done, then port and all, we don't have to worry over here. Now if you'd like to see that this print command was given successfully or not, you can monitor it via browser. That's why I install IIS rule over here. Okay, now in order to monitor that the print server via your browser, you need to install it internet printing while installing your printer management rule, and then after coming to the browser you write this one, it will open that console. HTTP, because we have not used any certificate, localhost, if you remember, this means myself, and printers, not printer. Okay, it will show you the console. See here, it's coming. See here, these were the print command given. Actually, the size of the document, when it was submitted, how many pages, who was the owner, the entire information will be listed over here. Okay, now if you say that I would like to log in using any other account over here, so let's do that. I'm going to log in any of the workstation using the different credential. So I do have one user called HR1, so I'm going to log in using that account. So let's try that one so that you'll be more convinced that the printer is being successfully deployed. Okay, this is gonna save your time. Actually, this is gonna save a lot of your time. So over here, now it's connecting. I'm gonna log in using other credential, and that will be HR1. Okay, again, so I'm logging in. I hope it's not going to the cloud. When you log in for the first time in your workstation, I do believe you know that it takes time, but over here it's not the first time I'm logging in, but still it's in a virtual machine, so it might take a few seconds more rather than normal timing. Bear with me for a few more seconds. Okay, now here we go. Now if I open any document to print, okay, now let's say again I'm going to write test and print it. See, it's already listed. Otherwise, find printer. Okay, select the printer. Okay, done. It's installing the driver itself from the server. You don't have to do anything. Otherwise, you think about the pen. If there are 100 workstations or 200 clients, I have seen some of the organizations, I have worked myself, having the clients more than 200. That means more than 200 staffs are in one floor only. How are you going to manage that? That means, are you going to install the printer driver for 200 clients going to their 200 workstation? That's not possible. So what we're going to do now, we're going to deploy this via group policy. Okay, now we print it. Now again, I'll monitor using that web interface. Okay, so it's done. Don't save. How about the client wanted to use this monitoring over here? Let's see. Okay. Localhost printers. Just what I'd like to show you what happens when the client want to monitor this printing task. Let's do it once again. Localhost printers. Does it allow? No, it will not allow you. See, it will not allow you because you do not have authentication for that. Whereas if I go to my server, okay, domain controller, from where I have deployed this printer server, and I go to the browser, and I type the same address, let's see, localhost printers, then you see that console will get displayed. See, because it's about the authentication. Just now we gave one print command using this user account. See, it's R1. Size of the file was 24.2 KB and this was the time. At this time I have made this video, so that's why it's telling you the entire thing, date and time and the year, everything is being displayed. So apart from that, you do have other features over here. You can pause also the print task. Let's say this guy is printing huge amount of document. I can pause also. Since there is no physical printer, so that's why it's doing this. But we can pause also. We can resume also. And we can cancel all the document from the printing task also. So that means over here, the entire print console is under the control of the server administrator. You can monitor it via cloud from any corner of the world, and you can create a report on this also. So I hope today's session for deploying the printer via group policy was fruitful to you, and it did add something to your knowledge or something to your practice, so that you can practically implement in your networking infrastructure in domain and environment. And if you like this video, if you think it was fruitful, please do like and subscribe. Thank you.